Hi everyone, this is Commissioner Winston Barnes in the fair city of Miramar. I am here to talk about a very exciting event that is coming up in November. Along with me today is our Director of Parks and Recreation, Elizabeth Valera. And I am saying it from now, I'm here to have fun. She is going to do the talking and the explaining. Elizabeth Valera, welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for having me here today.
Well, welcome.
This is an idea that you championed me with in March, and I thank you for that because this is the city's first ever Kite Festival.
There you go.
And we're so excited. Again, it's going to be at Miramar Regional Park on November 13th, and we're very excited because of all the different activities that we're going to be offering the public. We're going to have anywhere from 100-foot kite. We're going to have crayon art.
What did you say?
100-foot kite.
They're just having it for show, not for flying.
Just for flying. They are going to fly it professionally.
Oh, they are?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
and I think the kids, I think this is an event that's wonderful because it's good for all ages.
Right.
Which is wonderful. And there's also going to be an educational component to the event.
Beautiful.
Yes, kids are going to be able to learn about angles and shapes. They're going to be able to measure. They're going to see what the gusts of winds are because at Miramar Regional, we have the perfect ideal weather for it.
And it's wide open.
Yes. It really allows itself to be a very big space where all these activities can take place.
One of the things I want to share with our residents is the fact that I grew up flying kites. We did not have these fancy kites that you go buy in the store. We made our own kites. And before we're done here today, I'm going to show off the frame, as we call it, of one that I made years ago. And I'm going to convince one of our vendors to show me how they paper their kites as against how I paper my kite.
They do also have a little bit of background. Some of them are from Jamaica and and they have the same font memories that you shared with me. So that's going to be really exciting.
Great.
We're also going to have some music for the parents that just want to come to the event. We're going to have some food trucks. So it's going to be a full day of activities and fun. I think it's going to genuinely provide something new for the community.
One of the things I like you said off camera is that there is going to be something of a tutorial for young people to understand the science behind kites, how kites are made, about the wind and so on. Talk a little bit about that.
A lot of our kids are very familiar with our STEM program, which is very supported by our Broward County schools. And there's a component, an educational component with this event where they're going to learn angles and they're going to learn the differences between wind speed. They're going to be able to measure. They're going to see how to put things together. So that science component and math component is something that's educational, but they're going to see a genuine interest in it where they can apply it to the regular
everyday
world.
life.
Exactly, not just homework.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because there is a particular technique in getting your kite into the wind. You don't just say, go when it goes. You have to, and inside of that is a lot of physics. Because we're talking here about understanding when it reaches a particular height. For example, you do almost nothing because the wind will take care of it where it is. You have to know what gauge cord to use, if you're going to use thick thread. So there's so much to learn about kite flying, the making of kites, and so than merely just having a good time.
Since you brought this up in March, I learned a lot, but you just mentioned a few things that I still didn't know. So this is definitely going to be great for everybody.
I think we should start by showing them some of the kites that they might see when they...
Okay, don't show off yours first.
No, I'll be last, don't worry.
Well, let me show you. So one of the activities that we're going to take on the event will also be a little bit of art. So we're going to have some artwork where they're going to be able to do it with chalk, and we're also going to have crayons. And when they build their kites, they're going to be able to decorate the kites as well. So that'll be fun. We are going to have some giveaways for all kids under 15. So we have for all ages from 3 to 5. We've got for older kids, one of my favorites. And then we also have bigger kites for the bigger kids and butterflies and parrots and everything. So some of them are traditional kites, some are not. But I think everybody's going to be able to enjoy them and leave that day with something from the event. I will say that there's with this, I've seen a lot of nostalgia amongst my staff, amongst vendors, because I didn't realize how popular this
Kites
kite
are.
festival was going to turn.
Okay.
And like I said, I've learned a lot, but I think what has motivated me the most is when I say a kite festival, everybody brings up their childhood and different
isn't that
countries, and
beautiful?
I have Cubans telling me, oh, I used to go to the beach to fly kites. I have Jamaicans enjoying Trinis. You know, it's so wonderful how this event is going to bring the community together as well.
Who would have thought?
You did.
One of the really great things, and I like to share this with our residents from time to time, so many of these things that I bring to the fore were suggested by people who live in the city of Miramar. And that is what makes this so gratifying to see the response that we've had so far. But we're talking about a real fun day, because you're talking about kites at the center, yes, but there'll be children activities, there'll be music.
It's a full family day.
Incredible.
Are you going to show yours?
Can I show? Okay, right.
We're going to let you show yours.
So for our dear residents, this is a kite frame. Okay, what is it made of? This is thread. Okay, these are the veins from coconut palms. You strip the leaf, and these are what is left. You use your thread, and you also make a receptacle for what we call a singer. Okay, what is a singer? When your kite goes up, it sings. So what you do is, in addition to papering the kite, you have the singer here that is shaped basically like this, and when the wind takes it, it literally sings. It has, however, to be made of material that is a little stronger than the papering. Why? The wind is what makes it sing, and almost every time you fly your kite, Liz, you have to make a new singer.
Oh, okay.
The wind takes care of
Takes
it.
Oh, wow.
So this is where it goes. And your thread, cord, whatever, is attached in this corner, and as well in the center. Okay? So when you pull the kite, it rises like that.
Okay.
At the bottom end are thread again with the tail of the kite. I see all these kites with these fancy tails. What you do is you ask your mom, you ask your grandma, is there some old piece of cloth I can rip up? So you rip it and you make it in lengths. And it has to be of the right length, because the kite will bob.
Okay.
You try to bring it up, it doesn't launch because the tail is not balancing this part, so it crashes. And that's
I didn't
no
know
good.
that. Okay.
You put up your when you put up your kites, you put it up in company. You don't want your kite crashing the first time
No.
you put it up.
No.
Okay? You want your kite to
Okay.
go up and sing, but the great thing though is with kite flying, it depends on your particular situation, but you should have someone who helps you to launch it. They stand and they hold it in the air and you run off. If you don't have anybody to help you, you leave it on the ground, you run, and it comes up.
So they can do it by themselves as
ma'am.
well.
Yes, ma'am. So if you're coming, and I know you're coming to see us and share in this Kite Festival, I promise you there'll be a specific component where I'll be doing my kite flying. I might even look at some of the fancy ones. But something else I have to share with you, Liz. There are bigger kites. And when you speak to Jamaicans, they'll tell you about a big Beiji.
Beiji?
Yes. That is sometimes a shortening of the word for Barbadians, a Bajan. We call them Beiji. What is a Beiji? A Beiji is a kite that's probably this big. And instead of the fronds from the coconut palm, they use sticks of bamboo. Same principle as this, but
Okay.
it's way bigger. The thing with those bigger kites, I weigh a little more than I did then, but the thing with those kites is that once they got airborne, you need to tie it on the fence. It will pull you. When the wind grabs it, it will pull you. You know, and I promise you, once it starts getting bigger than this, they have to tie them someplace, because that kite will pull you.
And Commissioner, the bigger the kite, the higher it'll go? Or does that have nothing?
Not really. Doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Okay.
It depends on the wind, where
Okay.
the wind will take it, you know. And I think, and I hinted earlier, one of the things we are going to learn is about what wind does. Because take airplanes, for example. They don't need the wind to take off, but they need the wind to stay up there. And that's what a kite does. A kite sits in the wind and it just is there.
Okay.
You know, when sometimes your kite drops, the wind took a break. You know, so it's going to be an exciting day.
Yes, and that's an ideal location because it's usually a windy park.
Yes,
So
the
it's
fact that it's wide
ideal.
open, the wind comes through and through.
Yes.
So tell our listeners some of the specifics now, when, where, and so on.
So the event will take place on Saturday, November 13th, and we'll have, you can register online. It's on the flyer, and we have that also on our park's website as
Great.
well as, and we're also putting it out on social media. And registration is not required, but
Okay.
we would like it so that we can know how many people are coming,
cater for,
and we
right.
can gauge, you know, how many food trucks and everything to have. So I would suggest and encourage everyone to please register. And that way we also know the ages of the kids that attend,
okay.
so we can make sure that our giveaways match the age groups that are going to be attending.
And talk a little bit about our vendor, because they obviously have a certain amount of experience doing this. What do they bring?
Yes, they actually have held this event in the city of Miami, and it was very successful.
Okay.
They're called Skyways,
Okay.
and they're familiar with this type of event. And what's wonderful is that they are able to give us the service of that full package, and they have the experience, so they know what appeals to the kids. I love that they have the ability to have that section where the kids actually build the kites,
Yeah.
because obviously this is something that's impacted you for all your life.
Right.
So imagine these kids will go away with that introduction to kite flying and making their own kites. So I love that this vendor is a full package, you know, a
Yeah.
full service thing.
Wow. And one of the really cool things too, as you said, there are so many different ethnic national groups in the city of Miramar. And from what you're saying, virtually all of them have an experience, their cultural experience includes kite flying.
Yes, this is something I'm learning. I remember as a kid here in the beach in Crandon Park,
Okay.
we would fly kites, and we used to buy them at 7-Eleven.
There
And
you
I
go.
remember it was like $1, so we used to save our money, ride our
Okay.
bike to 7-Eleven and buy a kite.
Right.
But I thought it was just me.
No.
And then, you know, doing all this to get the event ready,
You learn so much.
everyone I speak to has a story with kites. You know, there's
Wow.
just some background to it. So
So
it's amazing.
what you are telling me as our Parks and Recreation Director is that we have to do this every year?
I think so. I
We
think this
don't
is
have a
our first
choice.
annual. And I always hate to put first, or because then you expect a second. But I think that
Yeah.
this one, it definitely is going to require a second and a third and on.
course.
I think this is a signature event now for the city of Miramar. I really do.
That is so good. So, what is left for us to tell our residents to make sure? Then again, maybe we don't have to be telling anybody else. Seems like everybody heard already.
I think I talk a little.
This is good.
But we really look forward to having everyone there. And I wanted to say the event is November 13th again, but on November 11th, we also have our Veterans Day Memorial event at Veterans Park, which is in memorial of all our veterans in the city and
Right.
along. So I would also invite everyone in the city, if you'd like to attend, at 10 o'clock on November 11th at
Great.
Veterans Park on Arbor Drive. And I encourage everyone to come out and pay respect to our veterans.
Oh, that is so good. We've been talking here with our Parks and Recreation Director in the city of Miramar about our great, big, initial, first ever Kite Festival coming up on November 13th. It takes place at our regional park, and it is going to be big fun. I'm sure you want to come and see me fly my kite.
See you then.